Today is July 29th, and we're doing our third extraction for the year.
There's some supers that we left on that one.
And they actually filled them up on our alfalfa field. So we're gonna talk through our setup of how we do it as a very small scale business. As far as our setup goes, Casey, talk through like how we bring it in.
When we bring the supers in, we'll stack them up. This last minute left some supers on because they were still putting stuff in them, so we just got a small stack here. But we'll leave the fans blow on them for about 2 days, 1 to 2 days before we extract to help dry the honey out. We look to get it down to at least 17. This stuff today's at 16. 16 and a half.
So these are shallows.
These are shallows.
Not a lot of people use shallows anymore.
We got a box cracker here to pop the frames up, make them easier to get a hold of.
This is definitely a new thing that we got this year, and it is, instead of trying to pry it out, it just pops right up. You don't have to have the hive tool.
So then we use the hive butler for our tank right now. That's all we're really using. The largest part of it, and we had fully capped frames, then we use our hot knife. This one has a thermostat on it, so it keeps it kind of at the right temperature that way. That works really good for us too.
Okay, so then we use the cracker. We go ahead and either use the hot knife or...
So since we just have a few, I'm not gonna get that. And this isn't fully capped either, so.
So you're not gonna get the hot knife out?
Just roll it a little bit, punch those open. That extractor will get it. Just like that. Sometimes I'll go this way, and then a couple times this way, just to help, because I've had some times where they don't get all the way open.
So this is new to us this year. We've always had a hand crank, and we're just pretty amazed by how much continues to kind of flow out with this.
It's a 15 frame, 15 shallows or mediums, and I think it hold 9 deeps. So earlier this year we had some deep supers that we extracted. It holds 9 deeps. It's really nice, really quiet.
It is very quiet. Now, do you have to reverse those frames at all?
No, this is what is it called? Tangential.
Okay.
I sit in here like this.
So with that,
I have to flip them.
with our manual one we used last year, you would have to rotate the frame when you would spin it out, and then you would have to turn it around to spin the other side. So the process definitely took so much longer. All right. So then you open that, and then you can just start taking the frames back out. Pretty clean.
Very clean.
Wow.
Almost dry. Be surprised, even with that right there, you get that honey out of there. I mean,
That's awesome, yeah. The best method we have found is we actually will put them on a couple colonies. We'll put an inner cover on over the brood chambers with, of course, a queen excluder, and then they can crawl up there and clean it versus just leaving it out in the yard to rob out.
So then, usually since this isn't bolted down, I have to kind of start it out slow to get it balanced. Can't just go full speed right away. Let it kind of start to sling some of the honey out so it gets balanced. Take it up a little bit.
Very quiet. So he's going to speed it up a little bit more. I don't know what the speed stands for, but you started out at 10.
It goes from like 0 to 100,
so now
usually when I get to what full speed is around 65. I think that's been pretty efficient for us. So it gets most of it out already at around 30. Slower, but
So Casey is checking this new batch here. I want to make sure it's under 18%.
Right at 17. This one's at 17.
So there's, I don't think you can see right there. Yes, you can see on the right there. See how that blue part is right by the 17? That's what tells us the moisture content. So it's right at 17. So and that is some good honey then. You can watch how this cracker works.
Square it up. You could use a mallet, would make it easier. I don't have one in here. It even pushes down pretty easy.
That's awesome.
Puff them right up. Get a hold of them.
Are you using propolis for anything?
I'd like to. We don't right now. I'd really like to make some propolis products because I do use propolis from another person, and I really enjoy using it. It makes me feel better.
Mm-hmm. From personal use. Okay, we're talking about the difference between, you can see that's kind of the wax, and then we have this right here, which is propolis.
Might have a little, I think sometimes they mix a little bit of it together.
But right there, would you say that's beeswax?
No, we're not gonna throw that propolis away.
We'll use that. So sometimes you'll drop a frame. These frames, but you still
We are
can.
gonna use that propolis for personal use. We're not gonna throw it away. It's too valuable to, I feel like.
Absolutely.
What about you, Ingrid?
Oh yes, I have definitely seen benefits of propolis.
So, from what I understand, it has a lot of antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, just all around good. It's the health of the hive. It's like the hive's immune system, right? It's external from the bee, but it's part of their immune system. So that was why we purchased some of the propolis boxes this year, because we really do think that having that propolis lining is important for the bee colony.
How can you tell when this is done? Just that they did.
Honestly, don't know that I've ever been told how to know, except the flow obviously will slow down, and I kind of watch the sides of the extractor and can see whether there's any flinging out of the frames. So I'm going to speed it up to about 60 now, where I like to finish it. You can kind of hear, now you can see along the side there that there's more coming out.
Yes.
So these are turning out pretty good. These might have been some that were left on from earlier in the spring. And they were maybe like partially filled out, so we left them until we knew it was done.
It's filling up. Wait, it's still going. Pours the bucket out. Ready for the new one. Here's bucket number 1. Now we will wait a couple of days before we bottle out of this, and to let everything kind of rise up from the bottom, any air bubbles, any wax that may have got through the strainer. And then you can lay a piece of saran wrap on the top of the honey, and then it'll help to grab a hold of any of that extra residue before we start bottling. All these boxes came from our Knox yard. So we're gonna finish out these last few frames, hopefully get this bucket maybe like halfway full. And then we're gonna go out to another one of our yards to get a couple more supers to finish them. So we do a local harvest day for our at a museum here in the county. So it's called Harvest Day. So there's several different exhibits there, and honey harvest is one of them. So we do keep a couple of these shallow supers on, probably just like I think we have 4 out on our home yard here, and then we'll be able to show everybody how we harvest honey. We take our manual extractor there and we haul everything there, and then people come in and kind of walk through different areas of the museum, and honey harvesting is one of the areas. So we do that'll be our 4th extraction for the year, and I think that'll officially be when we are all finished.